Good morning. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video, which is a little bit unusual for me. I don't usually do them. Um, I was thinking of doing one the other day, and I'll just show you quickly why. My my reading has completely gone out the window, and to be honest, that's alright at the moment. I do have a lot of other stuff on. The only things I have been reading are poetry books. But I've been looking for this for a while for the audiobook, because I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. Particularly at the moment, I am going through some of the Warhammer audiobooks, and I've just started the Siege of Terra. However, I am looking for a bit of reading to do, and I was looking for the audiobook for this, but I couldn't. Either there isn't any, or there's a university professor who has done the first chapter and that's it. So I went and bought it. Only cost me a couple of quid. But yeah, this is sort of thing. This is probably the book that got me into reading. When I was young, I did listen to the Harry Potter books. I listened to the first four, and then I listened and read along to the fifth one, The Order of the Phoenix, and then I just read the rest of them. And then once I'd read the rest of them, I went and actually listened to the audiobooks of them as well. I did listen to a lot of them. I didn't really have any other audiobooks on tape. I did eventually listen to the Aragon ones, but yeah, listening wise, the only ones I really listened to were Harry Potter on repeat, and as soon as I finished the series, I would just go back and start again, and that's how I fell asleep from probably about the age of 10 till probably about 16, probably about 15 or 16. I would listen to them every night. But yeah, when it came to reading, like really sitting down and reading, the books that really got me into it were initially these ones here, the Jimmy Coates series. I haven't read them all yet. I listened to the first I read the first three or four, and then I think there was a bit of a gap, and then I moved school, and then I just didn't get back into reading. So I bought the first one, Jimmy Coates Killer. I do remember these being very fun books, and then once I got into the first couple of these, I did get into the Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, as well as I can't remember the names. Anthony Horowitz. Anthony, he's the guy that does Stormbreaker and stuff like that, but he does another series of detective books. I'll double check. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is Anthony Horowitz books. I didn't get into them as well as like say this and the Lemony Snicket's books, but I did actually read a few of them. Hello, dog. Are you all right? You got water there? You got water there? Good boy. He's just coming out of the sun. He's very hot. But yes, I am going to start reading this book. I might even do it as a video. That'll probably be quite fun. I do have a few other books I was planning to do videos with, but I will do that in the future. We don't need that for just now, so I'll put that there. Anyway, coming back to what this video is about, and today I am unboxing this, which I will show you what it is. It's just arrived about half an hour ago. I'll show you the quality of the packaging. I'll bring it up here. I don't have a second camera for this. Here we go. Sadly, there's a little nick in the box in the packaging. Sadly, but that's okay. But yes, as you can see, you can have my address if you really want it. If you don't want to send anything to me, that's as long as it's not a parcel bomb, I'm completely fine with that. Anyway, let's get down to unpacking this. I'm sorry this isn't the high quality of other YouTubers and people online, but at the moment I have one camera that can reach this far. I don't want to move my laptop. We'll just open it from this nick. So here we are. I have bought myself, if you've watched any of my other videos, you might know that I've been doing a lot of sewing, and I probably should have bought one of these earlier, but I wasn't really considering myself doing this much sewing. And not only doing this much sewing, but actually getting into it and enjoying it, which I very much am. I've said in the past that I did make. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Where is it? I bet you it's under there, isn't it? Under this pile of junk. Shall I unbox this as this? I'll unbox it as this. Here we go. So my computer is doing stuff at the moment. Take my real grubby hat off. Here we have it. If I can get it on just now. It needs a little bit of a re-sewing. I've done sewing before. I've never really gotten massively into it until I made this. One sec. The amount of hair I have at the moment is just making this difficult to get on. There we go. There we go. And it can tie up at the back. So I made this. It is very creepy. So it ties like that. I made this for initially a project called Manuel the Ungulate, and that is where I got the name of the channel from. And Manuel the Ungulate will be coming back, but the quality that I want the project to be, audio, it is an audio project. The quality I want it to be is just quite. I would like other talking characters in it. So, but yeah, this is Manuel the Ungulate, who is he lives in the sort of Middle Ages. Yeah, very creepy. Obviously, where's that? That's not meant to be there. Anyway. So this is quite hard to get on and off at the moment. But that is specifically tailored to my head. and that was hand stitched. That took a few days just to make the mask and then do the embroidery on it. But yeah, having long hair, especially I've just got out of bed, so my hair is quite dry. Anyway, so I do apologise, but yeah, there wasn't a tangent at all because I was just telling you about the sewing that I've been doing. But yeah, here we have. This is what I've bought to stop having to hand sew everything. Now, I could have gone to a charity shop or purchased a more reputable brand, or even a brand. But this was like £8 to £10 or something. It might have been like £11.50 free postage off eBay. I was going to get the one off Amazon, but it was actually nearly double the price, and then also included £6 postage, which at this current time I wasn't able to. I couldn't afford. So that's the deal on the money. I do very much like eBay. It is a very useful website. If you want to buy older stuff, you can't beat it, really. Anyway, I bought this. I'm very unsure on the quality of it, but I think for 2 or 3 layers of thin fabric, it should do the job. But we're going to find out right now. Now there aren't, in terms of this, the mini sewing machine. With the exception of a couple of hand sewing machines, this is the bog standard on the market. In fact, there isn't really anything that comes close. There is another one that's I'm pretty sure it's the same company, and it's just a different shell. It is slightly more expensive, and it comes in a pale blue. But yeah, I went for this one. There was a Hyundai one that I was looking at getting, but it was I didn't want to have to wait for the bids. It was a little bit more expensive. Some of the things I found on eBay, where they say tested working, I am very skeptical of a lot of them, especially with I bought 3 screens. I bought 3 small, about smaller than this, literally smaller than this, CRTs, and only one of them. Actually, no, I bought 4 because one of them was a radio CRT as well. And out of the 3 CRT TVs, only one of them actually has a full screen. And then the only other one that has a full screen is the CRT radio. And all of those listings state that the screens were all working, but it's absolutely fine because I am probably only going to be using one of them now, and the rest of them can just go into the parts bin and will be very useful for parts, especially for the kind of stuff that I'm doing at the moment. They'll be very useful for parts. So quality of the box, it's clearly been squished. Doesn't look like it's been bashed around, but it's definitely been squished. I'm not sure if that's been in postage or whether it's just been sitting in on the bottom level of like some warehouse somewhere. And we'll start unboxing it. We have a very short and sweet instructions manual. We have a little thing of bobbins. So someone just lost my house. That's alright. and then I might have to go out and get Wallace because he's gonna annoy whoever's trying to leave. Okay, there's nothing else in there. We'll remove those, put that there, and see that, he's gone out, he's getting called a good boy. A couple of bits of styrofoam, they can just go back in there. This happened last time as well. Last time I tried to do a video here. One moment, I'll be back. Just pop them in here if you want. There we go. I do apologise. My neighbour had some guests over and they've just left and they needed the dog out of the way, so he needed Wallace out of the way. So here we have it. We have a foot pedal, a charger, and then here's the little machine. I don't have any bananas on me, otherwise I'd give you a banana for scale, but it is, as you can see, it's not even that much. It's barely bigger than my microphone, which is it's quite unbelievable. And it does look like an awful lot like a unicorn. Like it's got its if you've ever seen those like white with purple unicorns, I'm not sure what they're from originally. I do know that they are in the Borderlands. I think it's Borderlands 2, one of the expansions. It was it's like Tiny Tina's like Dungeons and Dragons one expansion, DLC even, and they had some sort of pink. I can't 100% remember, but they had some sort of unicorn in it for that DLC. I did play a lot of that game. That was actually very fun. That game. I would love a year off to play that again from the beginning. Anyway, let's get this unwrapped. bobbins just falling at the bottom. That's okay. I'll sort that in a second. There's a hole. Well, there's a hole in it. That's why. There we go. Don't need that. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap this back up. There was a spring actually. Where did that go? I'll need to find that because we'll need that. How does that even clip in? Hello mate, you're too hot again, are you? You love sitting outside. I've not just pushed him outside to suffer in the hot. He actually loves going outside. He loves sitting in the sun. He is very used to it. He is very, very used to it. I mean, he is Aussie, so you are Aussie, mate, aren't you? He just loves. He sits right outside the front door and just sits and cooks. He loves cooking. He loves cooking, don't you, mate? Okay, let's find this. Where's that gone? I've got no idea where that went. Not in there. Just follow the floor. Okay, that is annoying because now I just feel like a little child who's just got a brand new toy and has lost a piece of it already. Would it have gone? Where the heck would it have gone? I swear it's got behind me. It's not like attached, but something. Okay, I've got I can't have gone far. I'll do this. Are they magnetic? They are magnetic, so. It didn't bounce over where you are, mate, did it? Can you move? Can you move? Didn't bounce over to you, did it? No. That's just very annoying. Well, what we'll do is we'll perfect. Okay, so the original spring has bounced off somewhere. It's definitely not in there, is it? That's right there. That's kind of how did I miss that? That is actually unbelievable. So it's right here. However, there you go. There's the original spring. I don't know if you can even see that, but I do have a lot of spare electronics around that I've been ripping apart for little plastic bits, and I did have a. It's a bit more rigid. The one on the right's the one I just picked up out of my parts bin. But yeah, there we go. I've got a spare spring for it. What I'm going to do for the spare spring is I'm going to pop him in here just in case for an emergency. Okay. So let's have a look at how to set this up. Okay, so this goes over here, and then it goes under there. I need some sort of tool to do this. But it looks like they have started me off here. Let's put that in there. There we go. Okay, so just this, that just pushes in and pushes into place. So that's all that's set up. Someone has actually done, so I guess to test the machines and to show that they do work when they arrive, someone has kindly put a little stitch through a piece of fabric, and coincidentally enough, it's the same colour as this that I've been hand sewing. It's not identical. It's not perfect, but it is very, very close. This is what I've been. This is the most recent piece of sewing that I've been doing. Is a flag. It is. This is an original flag by me. Parts of it, the pine trees come from the pine flag, which is a very famous flag. And there's multiple versions of it, and I was very, very inspired by it. So, I guess what we're going to do, we're going to get our charger out. I might see if I can pull you over so you can get a better view. I'll tilt my laptop screen as well, so you can see me from back there. There you go. Move that out of the way. you up close. I apologise, you're not going to be able to see me as good. And I won't be centred apparently. There we go. That's still not it, so there you go. Okay, so one thing about the charger, it is very, very short. That is outrageously short. I might, what's that? 100 to 240 volts AC, output 6 volts, 1 amp. That's probably quite easy to replace or extend the wires. Okay, pop him here. That does sort of make the, which way I want it to be. Just try and keep that on my lap. Insert the power or replace needles. Pull out the power on the close. Please put the power on the close position. Okay, so it just straight away just goes. So it does work. It does work. It goes on and off. Now, does this foot pedal put it on and off as well? Or is it just on? Okay. Okay. I have to say the quality of the stitches on this are actually incredible for how cheap this is. I think I can just I didn't like that. Let's get another bit of fabric. I've got this thicker piece of fabric. This is where it gets difficult because that's just the switching on right. There we go. So I have to raise that up in a minute. It is there we go. So put that through there. Yeah, these are all. Okay, that's so what we need to do is, did that even work? Oh, it did work, it did work. Okay, so it is a bit messy. Well, it's not. It's just go away again. So it's not a messy. I'll come down here. So the sewing machine itself, the sewing is not messy at all. My sewing was a bit messy. I was just you can probably see a bit better there. From there, that's it. Can you see that? It is white thread, but they are tight stitches. Those are tight stitches, and very neat stitches. I've also overlapped it a bit there and crinkled it myself when I was fiddling with it. However, those are very quality stitches. The only thing I'm going to say, so I'll do more stitching with this today. The only thing I'm going to say is, so there was a bit of thread that came out of there, but maybe that was the overstitch. The only thing I have to say is the length of the wires so far. So far, the only downside to this, I mean, yeah, it's small, but that's also, I mean, if you're doing clothing or like for your average garment, absolutely spot on. You've got plenty of room in there to, fit the hem of a jumper through it, or your trousers, or cushions or something like that. If you wanted to do, I mean, you could do a curtain. You could do a curtain. If you wanted to do something thicker, like maybe this. Now, don't get me wrong. I've never properly operated a sewing machine. My mum has. My mum is very big into sewing. Very, very, very big into sewing. But yeah, something like this. There's probably going to be an area on here somewhere where you're passing the majority of the jumper through that gap. Something like this where it's padded and it's thick, you're probably going to have a tough time if you can even do that at all. But there's probably a way around that. There probably is a very simple way around that. However, so far on this, I'm very, very pleased with the quality of it. I mean, for £10, around £10, you can't complain. Like, you literally, there's nothing to complain about it. I know there's a lot of people out there that, I mean, it is made in China. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like products that are made in China. However, I have had a relatively good experience with products that have been made in China. Especially when you take into the factor of the cost. I can't afford a brand new sewing machine right now. And I live in the middle of nowhere, so it is a hassle for me to go into town and go to a charity shop and find one and then pay the same price, if not more, for it, and then bring it home and then actually manage to test it. So I'm going to unplug that now and I'm going to have a wee look inside. Move them over there. So I'm not long up. I do need another coffee. I do very much need another coffee. But yeah, I just want to have a look inside of this because so they seem to double up there. I've got no idea how a sewing machine probably works, but yeah, I'll show you that actually in a minute because that is actually really good quality stitching. So there's a little plate here. What I want to see, what I really want to see is, oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? It takes batteries. It takes 4 AA batteries, which is very interesting. I'll test that in the future and see how long. I've got some rechargeable batteries. I'll see how long they last sewing. I'll just keep stitching. I wonder if there's a way to roll up. I wonder if there's a way to roll these bobbins. I think they're called bobbins, aren't they? The bobbin of bottom line. Yeah, they are called bobbins, that's fine. So there's a little plate like this, sits over here and hides them. Now if you're watching this and you've got any tips and tricks for a beginner sewer, feel free to leave them in the comments. I've never said anything like that in my life about leaving stuff in the comments. There's a wee LED light. It's got a little switch. Now, that's a bit greasy. A little bit greasy. Someone's been eating fried chicken and been handling this. In terms of the quality of this, you know, my quality assessment, I'm gonna base my quality off also of the price. So I'm not going to compare this to a £200 what brands are there? The Singer, high-end dye. What else? Who else does them? I'm not really sure on my sewing machine brands, but that doesn't matter. You know, for £10, £11.50 or something like that, and free postage. In terms of quality, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. The factors that I'm not going to tell you what's given it that rating. I'm going to give you the factors that reduce that rating. Factors that reduce that rating are 2 things. The main one, pop him there. I need to name him. I'll name him. No, it's a him, mate. The factors that's reducing the quality is that. And that is annoying. But my guess is this is probably made for an 8-year-old child. However, it's a very good piece of equipment. So I'm going to have to, at some point today, I'm going to have to go in and extend these cables quite dramatically. that is, what's that? That's only about 50 centimeters. That's outrageously short, even for a kid. You know what I mean? Like so I'll say the length of these two cables, that's reducing it down to 9. The 0.5, the other of what I've taken off, the 1.5 is down to these buttons. It's not the buttons themselves, but the holes that have been made for the buttons. There is a quite sizable gap. As you can see, just there, you can see into the inner mechanism of the buttons. And then there's a little LED. There's a little LED there with a blue button. That blue button is very low quality, and it's clearly just the inner button. It's clearly just the electronic button. And the actual button is meant to have like a little, a little rubber knob, a little nubbin or something like that. A little rubber cover is what you would usually find on a button like this. That's exactly what you would find on a button like this. However, they seem to have avoided taking a picture of that specific bit. I'm not even sure if it's LED or not. It's not even, I don't think it's even an LED. Like, it is actually a miniature light bulb. It is genuinely a miniature light bulb. So that's very interesting. So yeah, those are the two reasons that I've removed the 1.5 from the score of 10. Inside, the majority of the mechanism is metal. The majority of it is. Where can we see? You can probably see a little bit here. The underneath winding wheel, so there's a winding wheel that's in the bottom, that is plastic. Yeah, that is plastic. There's a few plastic parts in there. I would consider taking this apart, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't want to mess around with this at the moment. If it does break down, I'll do a second video of what the interior looks like. But I'm just not interested in opening it up at the moment, considering I actually need to use it, and I don't want to spend, a couple hours trying to piece it back together. Now, okay. So, you've got your bobbins. You've also got this is my little unicorn horn right here. My little unicorn horn. I guarantee this has been designed on a unicorn. 100% guarantee it. Or like those nom cats, wherever. One sec, I'll get something from over here. What was I doing here? So my computer's running other stuff. What was it? Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. Okay, so get a little sewing bag, which is currently inside out. I think that's been an hour. We don't need that. What we need is just one of these. There we go. Not the best one, but yeah. If you might want to, if you want to use a different thread, and you don't want to use your bobbin. So if you don't want to wrap up one of your bobbins, or you want to keep white where that bobbin is, what you can do is you can get another roll of thread and you can place it on there. Perfect. Is there any other features to this? There's a little blade here. It is. You can't. You. I can't cut myself on it. It is just a tiny little needle, not needle. It's like a little thread blade, and it is somewhat protected. You know, if there was an overhanging bit at the top to protect you actually being able to get your finger in it. I can't get my finger in it. I can't get my finger to like press down on the blade properly. If I turn it, no. But I can imagine a child potentially could. So if you're the designer of this machine, I'm very, very happy with it. I would say a secondary bit of plastic that goes over the top of the blade, so you can just get a piece of thread in and not be a 8-year-old child and with your mushy skin and getting your finger in there. Anything else? That's very good quality. Yeah. Like there are plastic parts on the inside. But it's when you know, whoever's designed this is clearly a very good designer. Clearly a very very good product designer, whoever's made this. And that person should be congratulated for just the amount of, the level of quality for the cost in this is actually unbelievable. Is genuinely unbelievable. Yeah, like I said, there are some plastic parts inside, not many, but they seem to be, from what I can see, they are quite thick. You know, they haven't cheaped out on the plastic for those plastic parts, which is, you know, actually quite interesting if you're interested in the sort of design of these things. I don't think I have anything else to say for it. You get one extra rolled bobbin, 2 empty rolled bobbins, a spare needle, I presume. I think that's a spare needle, and a threader as well. So I'm just going to have a little read of the instructions, because I wonder if there's a way to roll up the bobbin. Because some sewing machines do actually have that, and since it has this, I do know that some sewing machines you will literally put that on there, roll it around the bobbin a couple of times, press a button, and then it will roll it onto the bobbin. So I'm wondering if that's for that, or whether that is for just running a different line, a separate line. Okay, so it does just come with one stitch. It does just come with a standard top and bottom stitch. I don't know if they are I don't know the name of that type of stitch, but it is just a standard top and bottom stitch. There's no adjustment controls on it for getting different types of stitch. However, I have just found how to wind the bobbin up. It, the For a Chinese product, the instructions are very standard. They are, to be fair though, to be absolutely fair, in terms of Chinese translations for instruction manuals that have come with products, this is actually probably one of the finer ones that I've got. It is actually legible. I've had some which you just cannot read it. Like it didn't make sense in English. Whereas this, they're clearly using the right words, but just in the wrong order sometimes. Winding bar in the machine is used for empty the bobbin winding. So they've just mixed some words up occasionally. So there is a bobbin winding method. In general, winding lever. That's the wind. I'm guessing that's the winding bar. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't. There is literally a simple. Fixed line. Winding bar. The bobbin of line. So this is your fixed line here, is what it says in the instructions. That's your line button. That's your winding bar and hand wheel. Well, how do I get that out? Or does that even come out? You know, I'm not going to do this just now. For something like this, you know, I've never operated a sewing machine in my life, so it probably would be. That's cute, isn't it? I got the exact right colour. It probably would be better for me to look at an operating video for just a standard sewing machine to understand how to automatically wind more thread onto the bobbin. Once I get a hang of it, so this is just an unboxing video, it's been quite lengthy. Once I get a hang of it, I will come back and do like an operating instructions video on how to actually use it. It is quite simple, but there are features that I've got no idea how to run. But yeah, there's the little sewing machine. Like I said, 8.5 out of 10 for my initial review. Might come back to it. Anyway, I will see you all later. I've got a few things to do today, including a painting. I'm going to be doing this painting today. And then I'll be doing some sewing tonight. So I will see you all later. And I hope you have a lovely time with your unbranded mini sewing machine with double threads and 2 speed control. That is something I didn't look at, is the speed control. I wonder where that is. Anyway, peace.